Welcome to our video on intermittent fasting to prevent and reverse type 2 diabetes. If you're struggling with type 2 diabetes or high blood sugar, you've probably tried your fair share of diets. But what if I told you that when you eat could be more important than how much you eat? That's right, studies show that by simply eating within a window, hormones stabilize, glucose metabolism improves, and chronic disease risk goes down. But caution is required for type 2 diabetes. So today we're looking at what's involved with intermittent fasting, how it can potentially reverse diabetes, including one study that found a whopping 53% improvement in insulin sensitivity, as well as tips for success and potential concerns. I'll also give you 2 free gifts to help you on your journey, so stick around for that. Now, what is intermittent fasting? I'm sure you've heard that late night snacking is extremely bad for your health. Well, IF basically builds on this knowledge. Essentially, it's simply limiting your eating window to give your body time to rest. This allows insulin levels to fall and blood sugar to stabilize so we aren't constantly flooded with hormones. When we give our bodies time to rest like this, remarkable healing can occur. Hunger hormones come under control, inflammation goes down, insulin begins to work properly. And deep problems like fatty liver and pancreatic steatosis can even begin to heal. Of course, intermittent fasting should only be done with guidance from your healthcare provider. So what is intermittent fasting? The easiest form is to limit your eating window to around 12 hours. For example, only eating between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. each day. Pretty simple, really. Most people can stick to 12 hours, and endocrinologists report that even this small restriction can have positive impacts. After getting accustomed to the 12 hours, you might like to shorten this window, moving to an 11-hour window, then 10, 9, or 8 hours of eating, increasing the benefits further. Sticking to the same eating hours each day is ideal to your circadian rhythm and all the hormone signals that come with it. But even a few days of prolonged fasting each week will help. During your fasting hours, you can still have calorie-free drinks like water, tea, or black coffee. Now, a big question people ask is, what is the optimal amount of time? Well, that depends on your circumstances, lifestyle, and medical history, which is why it's best to ask your healthcare professional. This is especially important if you take medications or have health complications. That said, many experts recommend a general goal of working towards a 16-8 eating window. A 16-8 protocol can deliver significant benefits, which we'll discuss in a moment, while still being able to achieve and sustain for many people. This would mean fasting for 16 hours, limiting your food intake to only an 8-hour window each day. For example, eating between midday and 8 p.m. A number of studies have also found remarkable benefits, including a controlled trial by the University of Illinois in Chicago, which found intermittent fasting to be more effective than traditional calorie restriction diets. In the experiment, 75 adults with type 2 diabetes were divided into 3 groups. The control group didn't change anything about their diet. The calorie restriction group reduced their calories by 25%, a classic dieting model, and the intermittent fasting group ate whatever they wanted, but only between midday and 8 p.m. After 6 months, the results were astounding, with the intermittent fasting group losing significantly more weight despite eating more food than the calorie restriction group. They also experienced a significant decrease in HbA1c levels, indicating they improved blood sugar control. What's more, the intermittent fasting group found it easier to stick to the protocol than the calorie restriction group, which anyone who has struggled with yo-yo dieting will understand. We'll discuss hunger hormones in a moment and how intermittent fasting can actually reduce hunger, but first, there's another form of intermittent fasting that we should discuss. One that can be safe for type 2 diabetics under supervision, but isn't for everyone: alternate day fasting. Is this useful? Please click the like button and subscribe to turn on notifications to see new videos when we release them. Okay, alternate day fasting, or ADF, involves alternating between full days of eating whatever you'd like and days where you don't eat anything at all for 24 hours. 24 hours eating, 24 hours not eating. Quite a jump from the 8-hour eating window. For most people, ADF would mean having dinner and then not eating anything until dinner the next day. There are also adjusted versions of this. A popular version is that instead of completely fasting, you reduce your calories to 25% for 24 hours. This method is often done twice a week, with at least a normal day of eating in between. Alternate day fasting has shown enormous benefits, including with type 2 diabetics, but I must stress that it should only be done with medical guidance, because blood sugar levels may drop to dangerously low levels, known as hypoglycemia. Plus, other issues can arise, especially if you're taking medications or have other health problems. With that said, let's look at the science. In a groundbreaking study, 43 people with insulin resistance spent a whole year doing 25% alternate day fasting, reducing their food intake to 25% of their normal calories on fasting days. They only ate between midday and 2 p.m. Again, we're not suggesting anyone watching this jump straight into such a protocol, especially without supervision. But the results speak for themselves. After 1 year, their insulin resistance improved by a whopping 53%. That is life-changing. Similarly, a 2018 medically supervised trial found that insulin-dependent type 2 diabetics who fasted for 24 hours 3 times a week were able to stop insulin therapy within a month. And a 2021 scientific review of 8 different studies found various forms of intermittent fasting to be beneficial for fasting glucose, fasting insulin, weight loss, improving insulin sensitivity, and decreasing levels of leptin. Leptin and adiponectin are the superstars here. These hormones are the secret ingredients for why intermittent fasting can be so much more powerful than simply eating less. Leptin is released by your fat cells and helps to control hunger. It signals to your brain that your body has enough energy, thus reducing the feeling of hunger. But many type 2 diabetics become leptin resistant, meaning their brains don't respond to leptin properly. This works similarly to insulin resistance, where too much insulin causes cells to stop responding to insulin and the whole process breaks down. Likewise, too much leptin can lead to leptin resistance. And you guessed it, leptin resistance is common with insulin resistance. This dysfunction causes cravings, which can naturally spur overeating, accelerating diabetes damage. Fortunately, research shows intermittent fasting can slash leptin levels, improving leptin sensitivity in your brain. So you only want to eat when your body actually needs energy. It's like rewiring your brain, or more accurately, balancing out hormone function. The end result is that you don't get overwhelmed with cravings. One study found that leptin levels decreased by 21% following an intermittent fasting protocol, improving leptin sensitivity along the way. Similarly, adiponectin levels increased by 30%, which is very good. Adiponectin is a companion hormone to leptin, also impacting hunger and other related processes. These hormones are part of the reason why people doing intermittent fasting often find it easy after an initial adjustment period, not to mention the mental clarity, reduced anxiety, and increased physical energy. Before we get to tips for success, there's one more way that intermittent fasting throws your metabolism a lifeline, and it's the most important of all. It sucks fat out of your pancreas and liver. Most adults have some fat buildup in their liver and pancreas from years of eating more carbohydrates and sugar than their body needs. When we eat Any excess sugar is converted into fat, stored throughout the body, including vital organs like the liver and pancreas. As you may know, if you develop insulin resistance, glucose can't be absorbed by cells for energy, meaning higher levels of glucose in your blood and even more fat accumulating in the liver and pancreas. This is medically known as fatty liver disease and pancreatic steatosis. It is a vicious cycle and can trigger a host of health problems. But when we're fasting, our body uses up any circulating glucose first. Then it moves on to stored fat for energy, extracting the fats that's accumulated in your liver and pancreas. Essentially, this is defatting your organs so they can work the way they should again. It further improves insulin function and blood sugar control, as well as reducing blood pressure, lowering the risk of heart attack and stroke, increasing energy levels, improving sleep quality, and much more. Some doctors describe it as resetting your crucial organs, clearing the cobwebs out and allowing them to heal themselves. In a recent 2023 study that went on for 12 weeks, researchers used magnetic resonance technology to look at liver and pancreas fat before and after pre-diabetics fasted for 24 hours twice per week. After 12 weeks, they noted significant reductions in liver and pancreas fat. Maybe intermittent fasting is sparking your interest about now? I want to share a gradual approach that can work for some. Remember, this is simply an explanation of some approaches. Take time to consider everything before jumping in. It's important to work with your doctor, especially if you're on diabetes medications. Your doses will likely need adjusting, as well as other considerations or important guidelines. One might start with a 12-hour overnight fast for a few weeks, slowly working up over the next weeks or months, moving towards 16 hours fasted and 8 hours of eating. Once adapted, one might consider extending more on occasion. And a few tips to make things go smoothly. Don't forget, what you eat during your window matters too. Focus on lean proteins, healthy fats, and complex carbs to keep energy steady. Plenty of colorful veggies, nuts, avocados, all the good stuff we've discussed in our other videos. You might also like to download our free PDF books to help you stay on track. Click the link in the description box or visit diabeticstalk.com to find those. Next, it's important to drink plenty of water and stay hydrated and help your body cleanse itself. This is a rule for anyone at any time. Keep a close eye on your blood sugar, mood, and energy levels, as vigilant monitoring helps to tailor your approach. Many people find it useful to write in a journal to help you plan, reflect, record how your body responds, etc. Regular exercise as a lifestyle is going to help this whole process, but be aware of how fasting might impact exercise and any adjustments you need to make, especially if you do something intense like weightlifting or spin classes. Most people find it best to align physical activity with their eating windows. Some people wear medical identification, which is a good idea. It ensures that in any situation, people are aware of your condition, facilitating timely and appropriate assistance if needed. It's not common to get into this sort of situation with well-planned gradual fasting, but it's always good to be cautious. Most importantly, before diving into intermittent fasting, always touch base with your healthcare team. Next, you might want to watch our videos on incredible foods that reduce blood sugar or 10 ways to reduce blood sugar naturally in a week. These can be an enormous help in your journey, and we'll leave the links to those in the description box or click these images on the screen. And please click the like button and subscribe to stay up to date with new Diabetics Talk videos.